Once again, guys, welcome to another episode. Today I'm excited to just show you what we have done quickly in a span of 2 weeks in these Kilimani areas. So guys, thank you so much for always staying tuned to our new episodes each and every week. Stay tuned as I take you through the snags or the works that we've been doing on this particular project. So in short, before I waste a lot of your time, I will just give you a quick brief of this project. This is a client who has actually seen some of our works from our previous posts, and she was extremely excited by what we normally do, and she quickly called us in for a site visit, design, and quickly we did a BOQ approved, and we moved in. In this particular project, the client was actually staying in this house, and actually they have young kids, and we had actually to work within some safety measures and all that. So again, when you're working on such a project, there are so much entities or so much elements that you have to consider. First of all, you come in and move out things by first protecting the items that are already on site. So we came in and wrapped up the furnitures as if we are moving out. So we wrap up the furnitures quickly in wrapping papers as if we are doing moving. We stocked them in one particular space. That was one family room that was provided for us. We covered the entire floor with papers. Those are polythene sheets wall to wall. If you can see in our previous videos or previous images that we had already taken before or during the process, you can see that. Then after doing that, we had been given a span of 2 weeks to work on this project. And whatever we were doing in this site was basically we were actually polishing the floor. That was sanding, staining, and polishing the floor in two-pack finish so that we give it a new look, which as you can see, that is what is looking right now. It looks extremely new. Then we were given an opportunity to actually sand all the walls because the walls were looking bad. They had another finish initially, and she wanted a simpler, more appealing look. And as you see, that is one of the scopes. We sanded the window sills, redid the wall, the doors. On the doors, what we were actually tasked to do was actually sanding the doors again afresh, polishing them afresh so that we give them a new look. Then apart from that, we were also subcontracted to do a bit of gypsum ceiling works. So we did new stepped ceiling. The entire ceiling actually initially was a flat ceiling. So we had to do a nice, beautiful stepped indirect lighting ceiling. We rerouted, now as you do the ceilings, actually now you are actually forced to bring in now the lighting issue. So we were forced to reroute electrical points in this house so that we have a two-way switch on the other side and an intermediate switch on either sides. Also providing, and we had to change now the switches. These ones were 2 gangs, now we had to change them to 3 gangs now so that we have a switch for the wall brackets, we have a switch for the downlighters, we have a switch for the indirect lights, and we have a switch for the chandelier in the middle. Then apart from that, we were also tasked to do the wainscoting, and as you can see, there's wainscoting on this particular wall, there's a wainscoting that was done on that particular wall, wainscoting in the dining, and wainscoting also on the far left. So in brief, that is what we were tasked to do. So I will just move from point A to point Z to just pinpoint on the elements. So from the beginning, this is the door. If you can see from the previous posts, the door was a bit rough, it was distressed, so we had to come in and remove the existing top coats and peel them off completely, sand and polish so that it's smooth, and then we applied mahogany finish afresh. When you look at the floor, if Larry, you can go down on the floor, you can actually see that this floor is properly polished, sanded, and a two-pack coat applied on top to give it a new look. And all the gaps that were in between the joints of the timber boards, we had to sand and fill them up again so that everything looks beautiful. If you come on this side, if I touch here, if you come on the window boards, you come closer, you can see we have tried to give this window board a completely new look. Completely new look. If you come closer, it's shining, smooth. You can actually put your hand on it and you will feel that this thing is properly smooth and it looks completely new. And this is not actually a new house, this is a renovation. So meaning we can revamp a house that was completely old to look as if it's completely new. When you look at the pictures from the previous videos or previous pictures we took, this entire wall had been distressed by, I think these are fungal infestation or fungal whatever. So I don't know what I can call it, but it's actually a fungal attack on walls, whereby it's actually caused by the dampness, or probably you put up a house and the damp-proof membrane was actually overpowered to a scenario whereby now the wall starts spilling. So what we did, we came in, we actually hacked out the entire top plaster on this wall. After that, we had to do a treatment on the back of the wall. So that treatment is the one that now will block the dampness coming to the top side of the wall and distress it. Then after that, we plaster back with a waterproof cement nicely, and then we apply a proper finish. And those finishes, actually we buy them specifically, those finishes are applied on the plaster, so that now you actually now block the dampness from the other side to this other side. And after that, now we skim the wall nicely and we bring it back to the original finish, and the problem that was there is catered for. Then if you look on this other side, we had these portraits that were already in the house, so we had to be tasked to do wainscoting in such a way that these portraits come back to where they were and they fit nicely. And as we have hanged this thing, we had to trim nicely in such a way that we have double lippings of the treatment on either side, running all the way and fitting nicely. Then we had the lower trim on the lower side, and now we have given our client another task to buy now a beautiful, bigger mural or a bigger wall hanging to hang here, or put nice pieces, either 6, either 4, either 2, but nicely done, and the wainscoting will be complete. Then we also, as you come to this side, we also were tasked to actually move the power points, these power points, because of now the wainscoting, and you're trying to balance where the fireplace goes and how the seating will work around the entire space. So if you look around, I think initially the wall bracket was there and this other wall bracket was around there. So we had to shift them properly using our electrical engineer and our electricians on site, and we had to centralize them where we wanted the wainscoting to come. And as you can see, it is purposefully done so that the wall bracket goes inside and the wall bracket goes to the other side. The fireplace mantle comes to the center, and then we will get a nice, beautiful wall hanging. Then when you look around the walls, because our client is a Somali, and they like beautiful special effects, beautiful Arabic style. And that one is that is the reason that dictates a style also, because each and every client is catered for in a completely different style, and all clients are right and all styles are good. The only difference is the workmanship or the way you do your works. So this probably what we were trying to do, we were just trying to achieve the Arabic style in a simpler way, so that it's not so complicated but still brings in the feel. And that's why you can see nice, beautiful wainscoting, the wall hangings that are not pictures of people, but a beautiful tree that is casted nicely on a panel, done there. And then the wainscoting, and then the same thing on the other side, and then the beautiful chandelier that overhangs the center. Then, without forgetting, a beautiful, simple stepped gypsum ceiling with 2 steps, and that is a 600 step from the wall. Downlighters to cater for the downlighters, which actually, if I go to details, we have 100 for the cornice, a 50 millimeter for the chuma that is inside, and then a 50 millimeter on this other side, remaining with 200 for you to put a 4-inch lighting, and these are 6 wood slides in warm running all around. Then after that, we step up by 50 millimeter going back, then we come out by 250 to cater for the indirect lighting, all in warm, to give that warm ambience in the lounge. That is it for the lounge. Then I will go quickly to the dining area. So probably, if without forgetting that sometimes when you come to do renovations and there are things you need to cater for, there are some limitations, and if you're not so careful, you will get stuck. So in this case, we came in and this beam was slightly higher, and this beam was slightly higher, and the other beam on this other side was actually slightly higher. So what we did, we had to provide some beautiful way of achieving the stepped ceiling and to cater for the indirect light. For you to do an indirect light and step it into 2, you really need something closer to 200 mm. Why? Because a step will be 50 millimeter. Then there is the 50 mm that goes up. Then there is 100 for the cornice, and then there is the 70 for the indirect light. So all those put together will come to 200. So we were forced to bring down this beam slightly lower to the existing structural beam. So we dropped it by 100 for us to be able to run a cornice and separate this other prayer side to the other side. Then when we came here for the cornice to run round, again we were forced to do a false beam. If you knock it, you will think it's a structural beam, but there was a structural beam, but we had to drop it slightly lower. So without complicating the entire thing, we had to just transfer whatever we are doing in the lounge to the dining, so that so that you get the harmony when you're doing your thing. Because at times variety is very good, but also to get harmony when you're doing the entire theme is very critical. So on this other side, we came when we were coming in, this piece was here, and again we were told we want to retain our pieces. So whatever wainscoting you're doing on these particular walls, do them in such a way that this piece will come in. So we were forced to do a panel on this side, another panel on the right hand side, and then a bigger panel in the middle, just to cater for this beautiful wall hanging. Then we trimmed them nicely in 2, then separated the upper layer and the lower layer with a kathina wainscoting running all the way, and then ending just immediately where the far end panel reaches. And then now the upper layer and the lower layer complement each other just nicely. Then the same treatment on this other side, where we have our beautiful console and the ceiling, the same theme as the one we are doing in the lounge. A beautiful chandelier, stepped ceiling. But now when you're doing these stepped ceilings, again, there are so many factors you look into. One is the space you're working with. When you look at the space in the lounge, it was slightly bigger, but the space in the dining is slightly smaller. So there are things now, because of the space is smaller, you will find that the design is the same, but the steps, remember in the lounge we were using 600 millimeter, but now in the dining we are using 400 and 200, so that we use 600 in total, so that we get our dining table in the middle. Again, when we came in, this dining table was slightly on the side, but because we're doing a step ceiling and initially there was nothing to guide, so now because we are centering everything, we had to move the light to the center where the dining sits. And then also, as we were doing our calculations, we had to remove the 250, that is the box, the panel box, so that our curtains go inside, and when you are rolling them, they don't have to be to be attached, or they have to get stuck on the gypsum. Then we drop our nice panel all around the window nicely in 100 millimeter, so that when you're doing the finishes, you can easily treat the inner and the outer side nicely, instead of just dropping the gypsum panel. In most people, or most contractors, most interior designers will just run one single gypsum panel, and after that run a cornice around it. So when they come to do the finishes, when someone is sanding the gypsum panel, it does not come out so straight. And those are the things that kthinteriorz will look into to ensure that each and every entity is gotten properly. We don't promise 100%, but we will try 85 and above. So be rest assured, if you give us our project, if you give us your project, 90% you'll get, but we cannot say we will get 100%. So my Somali brothers, I can assure you, I am ready to give you the Arabic style. So guys, thank you so much for taking your time every time to just sit down and watch our episodes. We are so much excited and happy to always give you new and fresh videos. And please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also like our posts on our social media pages at kthinteriorz, where style meets elegance.